Hey, Sonya. Sonya, I hope you can hear me. It's windy out here today. Like, it's worse than it was yesterday. Yesterday, it was windy, but it's really windy today. Happy Friday. It's really, really, really Wednesday. It's really, really, really Wednesday. It's really, really, really windy. I got Wednesday on my mind. Okay, okay, that's good. That's good. Thank you. Cause this wind is not playing. It's not playing. It feels good, but it's not playing. It's got people's mailbox that it's actually snatched open the doors to the mailboxes. Happy retirement days. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to the live. Thank you both for coming in. What's up, cool gamer? Hey, cool gamer. How are you? How are you doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. No, it is not playing. It's not playing. Did she? A lot of people, a lot of people, I think like across the southwest to the southeast, the southwest, east to the southwest, however you want to say it, they're having some bad weather, like sleet, snow, rain, ice, high winds. So yeah, it's some front. There's a strong front moving through. It's moving. Can you hear it? Oh my God, it sounds like a train. Whoa. Thanks, Ruben. I appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, if it's not bad, it's nothing to complain about, but it is windy. Like, so I guess that weather is heading this way. It's supposed to get really cold later. Yep, it's supposed to get really cold. It's 34. Supposed to be, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Look, freezing is enough. 32 is enough. When they start talking about below zero, that's stay at home weather. That's that stay at home weather. Who wants to be out? That's the weather. You know what, Sonya? You used to have to go to work in that kind of weather, right? Well, you still do. I keep forgetting you're working now. I did. Got the garbage cans have been knocked over. Wow. But I'd rather it be Sonya says, yes, ma'am. Yeah, I thought so. I forgot about that. I was like, well, at least you can be home now. You don't have to get out in the weather to go to work, but yes, you do. You have to get in the weather to go to work. You have to get out there to go to work. Yes, it's I'd rather it be like this though than it to be really hot. Sonya, I walk to work. I used to walk to work when we had a blizzard, but uh, I didn't do it many times. I didn't do it many times. Not many times. Only a couple. Only a couple. So when the northern states have a blizzard, when the northern states say, when someone who lives up north say they can't go to work, then that's a blizzard because they're going to work. Snow, all that stuff, it doesn't matter to them. It's the normal. So if they're not going to work, then you know. It's been a heavy weather day. I like hot weather, but I like hot weather because um now I, how do I put this? When it's cold, you can get warm unless you're unfortunately homeless or something like that. But when it's hot, you can always cool off too, even if you have to leave home, and go to a store or something like that. Because a lot of people do that. Do y'all know people who leave home to cut down on the usage of their air conditioner when it's hot? I mean, if it's hot, you can go find a place to cool off. And if it's cold, you can also find a place to go and warm up. But I think it's a little bit easier when it's hot to find a cooling spot, I think. Um, I don't know that I prefer one over the other, but I prefer the wind. I'll say that I prefer the wind to it just being hot, hot. I prefer the wind, not necessarily the cold. But it's a feel good windy. Sonny says my hot weather is different from your climate. Hot is scorching hot. Not all the time, but it can get scorching hot. During the summer, it can get scorching hot. Now, when it's hot like that, like in places like New York, then I know it's hot. New York having a what do you call it? Heat advisory, or what do you call it when it's like really heat? Heat is really hot across the United States. When they have it like up there, Michigan and places like that, when they have heat advisories, it's just like the people down south and southeast and southwest having a winter advisory. No, it's not. It can get muggy, but it's not muggy like all the time. It's not like the norm to be muggy. Uh, if it's like a heat wave, then yeah. But like being muggy during the summertime is not always the normal, and it's not near as dry as say like in Arizona or like LA when it's really hot in LA. You're gonna get a tan. You won't necessarily get a tan here unless you like work outside or you're outside extremely a lot. You won't necessarily get tanned here. And I mean everybody gets tan. When it's like that, everybody gets a tan, want it or not. Whether you want it or not. Yeah, whether you want it or not. When it is that hot like that, where it's like you smothering and you can like you're like now it can get that way, but again, that's like when we're having a heat wave too. So like a heat wave up north is like a snow blizzard down here. Retirement says we have about 2 inches of snow, but it was below zero this morning. Our high today was 4 above. Oh my goodness. So it's definitely officially winter. Definitely. You get a tan bad there, Sonia? It gets hot enough for you to get a tan there? Wow, I'm surprised. I wouldn't think so. I wouldn't have thought so until you just told me. I wouldn't have thought it gets so hot there that you actually get a tan. See, you never know. You never know until you actually talk to someone. Because I think a lot of people assume that down south is always scorching hot like a heat wave. It's not, even in the middle of summer. It just depends on the summer. Of course, it's usually hotter in the south than it is up north, but it sometimes may not even be as hot as it is Midwest, and definitely not out west. So, but there are times if you really, really enjoy heat, come to Florida, come to Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Texas. And if you enjoy a lot of heat, Arizona, California, yes, man, winter is here. Yes, and Sonya says they're close to the sun. Okay, okay, I got you. Yeah, I think a lot of times people, because whenever I hear Colorado or Washington, I think cold. And if you ask me how, if you were to ask me how I thought their summers are, I would think hot, but like 80 degrees hot, 80, 85, maybe 90 the highest. I would think that way, mid summer. So that's how you have to talk to people who actually live in these places. Because I think we generally know how every area of the country is, but until you go there, sometimes you'll be surprised. You're baking cookies? Yes, yes. That oven keeps the house warm. That baking, look, baking cookies. I love baking in the wintertime because baking does keep the house warm. It does. Sonia says, come and visit and see. Yes, I've never been there. I have never been there. Like I've been to every section, I guess you could say, north, south, east, west, every direction I've been, but there are some places I haven't. So haven't been there. I haven't been to Washington, but I know a lot of people in Washington. I do know a lot of people in Washington. And so I know it rains quite often there, and the weather can get tricky there too. You made a Let's Grill chicken wrap earlier, so good. That sounds good. That sounds good. I don't know what I'm having, y'all. I don't know what I'm having to eat. I have. I don't. Y'all know I don't eat. I mostly eat chicken, fish, and turkey. And every now and again, I'll eat a steak. So I do have a T-bone that's thawed. It's got seasoning on it. I need to, and I'm trying to decide if I want it today or tomorrow. So I haven't had steak. I think the last time I had steak, I did a short. So I don't know, whenever that was. It wasn't recently. I haven't had steak in a long time. I usually eat steak like maybe 4 times a year, 4 or 5, 4 or 5 times a year. So y'all see the title. If you're in the chat, if you're not in the chat and you would like to, comment in the chat, do so. If you haven't subscribed and you're catching this live video, do so. Hold my doorbell, better known as the YouTube notification bell. Hold it, hold it, hold it, and come on in. Hold it for a few seconds, then come on in. Come on in. We're glad to have you. We're glad to see you. If you haven't subscribed, do so and hold that bell. Hold my doorbell. And come on in. Because I want to ask y'all about breaking chains. It's the new year. We talk about doing new things. Or some people not so much talking about doing new things, but being better. Um, doing things in a better way. And some people, they're just fine. I saw y'all. I saw someone today said, it's 2024, and I will curse you out just like it's 2023. I was like, what? She said it's 2024, and I will curse you out the same way I would in 2023. And it was so funny. It was like, you know what? I'm sure you will. I think everybody will do some of the same things. It's easy to do the same things that we did last year because that's just who we are. That's a part of who we are. Sometimes we don't like who we are or some of the things that we do. So that's why the new year and any time of the year, honestly, is a good time to just kind of reflect and see what you would do differently or uh, how what things you want to do to better yourself as a person, to improve yourself as a mother, a wife, father, grandfather, grandmother, whatever your roles are. You have to try to, a lot of times we want to think about the things that we can do to improve ourselves. So when I say breaking chains, I mean, I'm sure there are some things that when we make resolutions or we decide to make changes, there are some things that we don't want to do. We absolutely don't. Sonya laughing. Yes, Sonya. I was so tickled. She said it's 2024, and I will curse you out just like I cursed you out in 2023. And I said, I believe you. I believe you. It's always easy to do the bad, right? It's always easy to do the bad things. So tell me something that you're doing that's bad, or I was gonna say not bad because I didn't want to label it as bad, but there are some things we do. No, we have to be realistic with each other. We have to be realistic with ourselves. There are some things that we do that are bad sometimes. And there are some things that I want to change and do. I want to break those chains. Like I say, breaking chains. Breaking chains. Sonya says it's 2024. I'm a cuss. Yep, yep, that's what she said. And the person who said it, I know that she definitely means it. It's so funny, y'all. I do say that a lot. Like I often say people don't acknowledge who they really are, or some of the things that they do. But you know what? Sometimes people don't have a problem being completely transparent and who they are and what they do, how they think, and what they will do. So, I mean, people think people just say little things like that and you know post or talk about things like that because they're trying to get a laugh or get a view. But people post what they tend to mean. People post what they tend to mean. Oh, she says she'll curse you out. I think she means she'll curse you out. But that being said, at least she's not just running around cursing people out. I think she means if you come at her the wrong way, like Dr. Dre said, she's still the same old Dre. It's good to be, it's good to improve, it's good to try to, you know, better ourselves. It's good to change some of the things that we do that we may not be so proud of or happy with. But it's it's just all about what good or bad. Bad or good, it's just about acknowledgement. If you can acknowledge it, hey, that's a start to anything. If you can acknowledge what you're doing, it's a start. If you want it to improve, being able to acknowledge it openly or just acknowledge it to yourself, you have to be able to acknowledge it. Because if you're in denial, it, have y'all ever been like in a situation where you want to do something, but then you tell yourself, but I'm not that bad. So when you say I'm not that bad, it's kind of like the devil and the angel sitting on each shoulder, the devil on one and the angel on the other. And it's like, you know what you need to do. And you know that you aren't doing it, maybe even close to the standard that you want. But when you decide, okay, I'm going to do this way and it'll be better. And then you give it a second thought and say, but I'm not that bad anyway. Or you're in a conversation with someone and you say, well, I'm not that bad anyway, though. It's like you haven't fully accepted that it may not be so bad. But when you say, but, you kind of almost defeat, you almost defeat the, the, you don't defeat the goal, but you almost set yourself back on starting. It's just like running a race and someone blows the whistle, but it wasn't the coach who you were supposed to be looking for, and you take off and they're like, hey, so you stop and you come back and you got to start again with the official whistle. So it's like you're saying, I want to do this, but I'm not that bad anyway. It's almost like you set yourself back immediately when you say that. Because to me, that's just like saying, well, I don't have to do it as much as I thought I would, or it's not going to be that hard for me because I'm not that bad anyway. And you may really need to do. It's like you set yourself back from the 100%, let's go, to a 75%, let's go. 75% is still good, but it's still a setback from what you initially said. Yes, we all have the angel and the devil on the shoulder. Yeah, yep. Angel and devil on the shoulder. We do. Look at that garbage can. So many garbage cans are turned over. People are gonna come home this evening and be like, "What? What? What's going on?" Leaves and small branches and limbs are in the street. Yeah, Sonya, we all weather, and and it doesn't have to be about anything that's particularly bad, but it's just you may say, you know what, I don't I don't need this Coke today. I'm not gonna purchase this Coke. I'm not gonna buy this Coke because I've cut down to like two a week. So this will be my third one. Past 4 or 5 weeks I've been doing two. This will be my third. So the angel is saying, yeah, yeah, stick with it, stick with it. Keep it to two. What we want to do is we want to get to one. Then you got the devil over there. Ah, you've been doing good for like 4 weeks. Go ahead and have that third Coke this week. Get you another one. Get you two, it wouldn't hurt. And it probably wouldn't, but he's knocking you off your game. He's knocking you off your game plan. Yeah, you got now. You're a person who used to drink maybe one or two Cokes per day. You've gotten down to like two per week, like maybe Tuesday, Wednesday, and then you save the other one for the weekend. You know, even if you like, sometimes we just have to make adjustments. Like like if you've been drinking 20 ounce, one or two 20-ounce drinks a day, well, and you get it down to two per week, and then you go out with friends and you hanging out and say you're not a big drinker, but there's a Coke sitting right there, so you're out. So you may have had you having two per week, right? You had your one on Tuesday and you saved your other one for the weekend, but you had it Friday. Now it's Sunday, I mean Saturday night or Sunday, early evening, and the week's about to kick off, and that third one is looking at you. Or you're in a situation where it's like you don't want to drink water, you're kind of hanging out, you're at the movies. So what do? I don't want punch. And, you're looking at that soda and it's calling you and it's calling you. So what you do, hey Bad, welcome, welcome, welcome to the live, Bad. How you doing? So I think what you do is what I've learned to do when I was drinking drinks years ago, like once a day or just whenever, not so much that it was so much, but it was just whenever I wanted it. So I learned to like, okay, I got this 20 ounce. Some people drink one or two per day. So what I can do is drink half of it today and the other half tomorrow sometimes. So, it can be more than twice a week, but it's that same bottle. It's that same bottle. I would use my 20-ounce bottles the way people use their 2-liter bottles. They're 2-liter bottles. So there are always ways to improve and ways to change. Sometimes, like I always say, you have to, you may start out one way, but you have to take a detour and go around another way. You have to go around to the left, around to the right, maybe even go under and come back on the other side, go across the top and come back down. So sometimes we have to break chains in different ways. You may not be able to break the link in the middle, but you can break off two or three at the beginning of the chain. Sonya says, every time I get ready to work out, it's always something trying to stop me. See, I'm telling you, it's whatever little changes we want to make. Sometimes there's something that's just there trying to stop you, trying to stop you. And that's okay. So that's okay. If you backslide a little bit, or if you don't do it just the way you plan, then sometimes you gotta be hard on yourself. But you have to be stricter. You have to get stricter. You have to get stricter. Even if that means, the best way to do something, the best way to cut something out is just not to buy it. That's one of the best ways to eliminate something that's like an addiction kind of. Oh, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry about that. That was old Billy Roy. I'm sorry, I'm sorry about all that noise. But yeah, sometimes you just have to be stricter. Be stricter with yourself. It's just like, you know what? What's so funny is adults, we're good at telling kids you can only have this much. Well, most of us are. Most of us are, because we got some of us, we're so soft. When they give you when they give you that look, you're like, I told you you could only have two. And they give you that look and you stand strong. No, you're only getting two. They come back 30 minutes later, they give you that look again. And what do? Well, go ahead and get one more. But most of the times we're kind of, we kind of stick to it when we're talking and dealing with the children. We're like, no, you can only have one at this time and one at that time. If you want both of them now, that's on you. But if you eat both of them now, you're not going to get a third one. What do we do? What do we do? We give them the third one. But a lot of times we don't. A lot of times we don't. A lot of times we stick to what we say. So we just have to learn to stick to what we say about ourselves. The things that we aren't going to do, don't do it. And if you do it, make sure that there are certain things that we do that we don't even, we may not even want to do them in moderation. We just may really, really want to cut back. So some things you have to deprive yourselves of. That sounds bad, but it's not bad. It's not always bad. Right, Sonya? You do. Thank you for coming through, Bad. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Sometimes we have to, deprive ourselves, especially if it's for good, if it's for the greater good. So we have to break those chains, you know. So we talk about New Year's and goals, new resolutions. So we got to talk sometimes about the things that we're trying to not do. We're trying to stop doing. We're trying to break some chains. Certain things we don't want to do anymore. We've probably been doing it and doing it and doing it, and you know we don't feel like it's so bad, but we know we could do better. So sometimes we just have to break chains. It's just like with certain relationships, certain friendships, relationships, whatever type of ship it is, employment ships. Uh, you've been thinking about changing churches. You've been thinking about changing schools. You've been thinking about, sometimes you want to make changes. So in order to make that change, you have to break chains with whatever you're tied to at the time. You have to break chains to whatever has you chained at the time. And it can be hard. It's not to say that whatever you're chained to right now is bad. It's not to say that it's, not good for you, but you may not see progress. If you're in a situation where you're feeling kind of like you're not making progress, you're not feeling progress, and progress is what you would like to have, sometimes you have to break chains. Sometimes you have to break chains and stop saying that you're going to break a chain and then you go right back and connect yourself. You go right back and connect yourself. Hey, Jill. Hey, Jill. Jill says, great live, huh? Good night. I've been laying here listening. Thank you, Jill. And dozing off. Get you some sleep, Jill. Get you some sleep. Get you some sleep. I wonder how the weather is there. I wonder how it is. I know it's probably cold where Jill is. It's probably cold there too. So, sometimes you have to break chains. And then again, sometimes we go back and reconnect ourselves. We do. And sometimes, if you find yourself breaking a chain and you go your way and the other end of that chain goes their way or its way, whatever it is, whoever it is, there's nothing wrong with reconnecting sometimes. There's nothing wrong with reconnecting, you know. So sometimes you have to take that break. So when you disconnected or when you broke the chain, it was a break. Did you know that you would reconnect? Maybe, maybe not. Did you want to reconnect? Maybe, maybe not. That's just like some relationships. People break up and they feel like they almost hate each other. Whether it's friendships, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, a job, a particular job. How many of you guys have left the job because the management was so poor, or just the system at the time was just so messed up. And then, 2, 3 years later, maybe even 5 years later, someone at that job calls on you again, or someone that you knew who stuck it out and they stayed there. You run into them at the mall, you run into them somewhere, or they just happen to hit you up on social media, or however they do it, however they get in contact with you. And they say, well, things are better now. Like, I promise you, I promise you. And if you're at a place where you're satisfied and okay, you're content, maybe you don't reconnect that chain. But if you're in a place where it's like, it's easy for you to go back if you would like say you may be unemployed, or maybe not so much unemployed, but just not employed. Like you're retired, or you're just not working and you don't want to work. You're good. But then you get bored, or you just not really get bored. You just like, you know what? I'm not really doing anything. So let me check it out. And you go back, and the place is like the person told you. Say it really is. Not perfect, but it's like a 360 from what it was. I'll say a 320 from what it was. And it's like it went from being one of the worst places you've ever been affiliated with or worked at to a great place to work. So sometimes we can reconnect the chains, but there has to be hard thought and consideration. It has to be a process of thinking and considering. Um, the pros and cons have to be weighed. And I see that so much in life where I'm like, I see so many people like on here or elsewhere. They say they solo dolo, they don't have to have anybody, they don't this, they don't that. And then the next thing I know, it- they're like complaining, or they're like, why this and why that? Like, don't stop questioning these folks. Stop questioning these people. Move accordingly. We have to learn to move accordingly for ourselves in whatever environment you're in. Yes, if you have connections with people and they seem to break and you don't understand, you have every right for straightening. You have every right to want to know. But I just think about what my grandparents tell me, and think about it, because us, as we mature, we learn and we do better. Even at seasoned ages, we're still learning to do better. But when you look at them, they're in their 70s and 80s, and they're telling you something. They've done most of the times, 98% of the time, a heck of a lot more than you. So when they give you that type of advice, now in their younger years, they probably were Hellcats. And they did some things that they were wrong and they can admit to, just like we do. But the one thing I've noticed about the elderly population, whenever I sit and talk with them, they are strong-minded. They're strong-minded. Hey, Keith Hitchen, welcome to the live. I appreciate you. They don't keep going back. They don't keep going back. And then, some of them are just chill and relaxed. They don't have a lot to do anyway. They're not like running around all on social media. They're not, running all around town every day. They're just doing what they do to survive. They're living, enjoying life. Some of them are still working. Some of them are working. But listen to the wisdom. I noticed that everybody's wisdom isn't the same. But generally speaking, I always know what one of my employers, what he meant now. Teach a young person, listen to an old one. Because if you listen to that old one, you have more to teach the young one, because that old one is teaching you something. And stop worrying about why people do what they do or didn't do. Now I get it. Sometimes something just bugs you, like you completely have no idea. I get that. You have every right to, want an explanation or talk it out if you can. So don't take what I'm saying wrong. But sometimes you have to consider who it is. What do they bring to you? What were you taking to them? What do they bring to you, and what are you taking to them? What do they give you? And what do you give them? If whatever it is that they give you, the fact that they're not giving it to you now, or they've broken the chain with you, they've disconnected with you. Now, if it's really, really that important, then of course, seek your answers. But a lot of this stuff on social media is just not that important. It's not. A lot of the stuff that you do at the job is just not that important. If someone has done something to you at the job and you know you've done them no ill, no wrong, let it go. Let it go. They'll come around and then they have to wait on you. If you're open to that, fine. If you're not, then they have to do like you did. Let it go. Break the chain. Break the chain. Sometimes you just got to break chains. Don't worry about stuff so much. Like, mm-mm, it's too much. Y'all know what I say about stress, and I talk about that because I've been stressed. I've been stressed. I've been stressed before. I think we all face some degree of stress daily. Some days are way better than others. Some stress is not as bad as other stress. But why? Why take on stress that you definitely 100% don't have to have? What you cooking, Key Kitchen? What you cook today? Tell me what you cook today. When people do the woo-saw, people woo-saw for a reason. You know, a lot of times we wonder about stuff. It's almost like you're not, but it's almost like you're looking for it. If it stops looking for you, stop looking for it. If it stops looking for you, stop looking for it. Like some people say, if they're not checking for you, don't check for them. If they're not checking for you, don't check for them. And like I said, there's always those exceptions. If you feel like you've done something, but you truly don't know what it was, or if you feel like there's a misunderstanding, and that's with anybody in your life, sometimes you know that it's just time to break the chain. You've been around and around and around in a circle. You've been pulling and pulling on the chain. There's another issue or person or stress pulling on the other end of the chain. Get that saw. Get the what do you call it? The things that they weld with and all that stuff. Get something, cut that chain. Cut that iron. Cut the iron. Cut it. Let it go. And if it's meant to be, like I said, some of the things that the elders teach us, we already know. We've heard it 1,000 times. We heard it when we were kids and our grandkids were keeping us from mom and dad. We heard it from mom and dad. We've heard it from auntie. We've heard it from Uncle Leroy. We've heard it. Whatever it is, be it a relationship, a friendship, a situationship, a employmentship. Sometimes you have to cut the chain. You have to, yes, on your torch. Get that torch. Get that torch and put it to that chain. Sometimes you have to let it go. If it's meant to be, it'll come back. If it's meant to be, the chain will reconnect. If it's meant to be, whatever ship it is, it'll come back. The chain, it'll be like magic. It may take a minute. It may even take a struggle. Because sometimes when you when you break the chain, like you get that break, you get that release and that relief, and you start to miss whatever it is that you cut off, or whoever it is that cut you off, whatever it is that cut you off. Sometimes you start to miss it. Sometimes you know that if you go back, it's not going to be successful, so you shouldn't. But sometimes you start to miss it, and they miss you. So just because you have to break chains sometimes doesn't mean the chain has to always be broken. Like Sonya said, it's a torch. Sometimes you just have to just let that torch, put that fire to it. Let it just break it. Break it. And if you do come back, it's just like people. If the chain does connect, right? A lot of people would say, well, it won't be like it was. It won't be perfect. That's okay. That's okay. It's just like when we get scars. It's just like when we get scars. Believe it or not, you weren't perfect from the beginning. Maybe you didn't have a scar on your face. If it happens to be your face, if it happens to be your hand, wherever the scar is, yes, it was perfect at one point and you didn't have anything there. But now it's still perfectly you. It's still perfectly you. If you whether you ever if you never get a scar in your life, and then the person that sits next to you has 10, yes, you're scar free superficially. Superficially, they have scars that you can see, but within they may be scar free. Within they may be scar free. Doesn't mean doesn't mean that I'll put it like this, because emotional scars are left, but they heal so good to a point where sometimes that you're better. They heal so good to a point so sometimes you're better. So you sit to a young lady, she doesn't have a scar in the world. She looks like the most beautiful person you ever met. But I bet you that there's something that she feels like, even if she looks like she's confident as all get out, there's something within that she may, she probably wish she could change or better or something like that. And if it's not, like I said yesterday, what I say, keep on living. Keep on living. You sit, another young lady comes and sits on the other side of you. She has 10 scars. But guess what? Her mindset, her mindset. What is her mindset? Even though she's had these battles, these wounds, check my community wall. I said wounds to mental wisdom. Even though she has these wounds and she's had these battles physically and even mentally inside, she may be to a point now where very little can steal her joy. She has a scar here, scar there, visible scars, mental scars. You only have mental, nobody can see it. And you may have someone, like I said, they may be stressed and scar free, but keep living. And that person who has the most scars may be the most jovial, the happiest person you ever want to see. You ever want to see. Because their wounds, they didn't go away, but they made them perfectly them. They became wisdom. They became strength. They became knowledge. You know, they can't change them. They can't remove them. But they got that mind right with when whatever happened in order for them to get those scars physically, those visible scars, those emotional scars. If they got their mind right, those scars don't bother them anymore. Yeah, they look at them, they see them. I won't say that everything's perfect and everything's gravy. Time to time, they may think this happened to me when that happened. This is how I got this scar, and it may make them feel a way, but they've learned to not dwell on it. They've learned to not let it stop them. They've learned to not slow them down, not let it slow them down. And if someone else looks at their scars and it's a problem for them, then guess what? That's a problem for them. It's just like when I saw a documentary where people who wanted to be news anchors, on air news anchors, they had scars and stuff, and they had to do whatever they could to get. So just imagine having to go to an interview. Because I mean, I'm saying this, but like I always say, some stuff is easier said than done. So I'm saying this, but you have to think about it. People have to still deal with other people, the outside world. So they're putting on makeup and stuff. So yeah, you would like your scars to go all the way away if they can. But if they can't, that's just imperfectly you. You're perfectly imperfectly you. You're perfectly imperfectly perfect. And if they don't hire you for a job because of a scar, guess what? Get another one. Go for another one. Reach for another one. Somebody may call you back in 2 weeks, in 2 months, 2 years, that same job, and give you the job. That first interviewer may have just been a very, very superficial person. Very, very superficial person. So I watched the documentary and people talked about their struggle with trying to find on-air jobs, and they had gone to school, gotten degrees, and however they got the scar. Could have just been they failed as a kid or something. And going through school, nobody really said, oh, they're not going to hire you as a reporter because you have a scar on your head. They'll just let you stay in the field. They're not going to hire you. But think about it. Reporters in the field, they have to be on TV. I mean, people have lives, lives. Hey, Joshua. And if you can cover it, of course. But some people are so confident in themselves that They cover it just like they would anything else, just like the next person, just regular makeup, and they go on. If they can cover it, they can. And if that job is not for them, then they find one that is. Don't let it stop your goals. Don't let it stop you from doing what you want to do. Break that chain. Break that chain. Because the scar's not going anywhere. You can cover it up. You can hide it. That's fine. If that's what you know, you can do that, do that. But when you run into people who continue to remind you of certain things like that, break the chains with those people. Break those chains. Break those chains and find people who are on the same page as you. Find people who are on the same level as you mentally, intellectually. Because what I see a lot of times, a lot of people who think that they're so intellectual, what I've been seeing lately, they're the most childish people I've ever seen. What's going on, Joshua? Happy New Year, Joshua. He says, hey, Lance Pride. Hey, 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 Joshua. Hope your new year has started out great, Joshua. What are you up to? What are you up to? You know, sometimes you have to break chains. If you may be living in one area and you know the area is just not what it used to be. You love the area, but it's just not what it used to be. So now you have to break the chain. You have to break chain. You have to break the chain. Break the chain. Break the chain. Sometimes the neighborhood just isn't what it used to be. Sometimes the town. Sometimes you have to change towns. Sometimes the town is what it used to be, but it's just not what it used to be to you. And so you want to find a different place. You want to find another town to enjoy, to be happy with. So when I say breaking chains, it doesn't always mean a bad thing. It doesn't always mean you're disconnected from something that's bad. Sometimes it does mean that. So when it means it's disconnecting yourself from something that's bad, then do that. That's a great thing. But when it means disconnecting yourself from something that may not be bad, but that's just kind of keeping you from progressing, break the chain. Just because the torch lit up the chain doesn't mean sometimes those chains don't reconnect. Still remember that. Sometimes the chains do reconnect. And they'll have a scar, but a lot of times they'll be stronger. Usually anything that breaks, once it breaks and you put it back together, it's not stronger. But a lot of times when you reconnect the chain, it is stronger. And the scar is there to remind you of why things went bad the first time. Why things went bad the first time. Joshua says, I'm chilling and I pray for new place by a couple of months. I moved to somewhere in New Jersey. Joshua, I thought that had happened. Are you still moving? I thought you had moved into a place. I thought you and your mother were somewhere, Joshua, and you had moved into a place and everything was good. That was a few months ago. That was like over the summer. So what have you been up to, Joshua? You've still been looking for a place? Did everything not pan out? Did everything not pan out? Or are you still did things kind of get set back a little bit and you're still waiting? Let us know. Hope that you and your mom are good. I hear an ambulance. I don't like to hear the ambulance. I've been walking for 50 minutes. Jill says, hey, Joshua. Jill, tell us in the chat so I can put it on the screen about your contest, Jill. So it's not a lot of people in here, but hopefully they'll come on through after the fact, or for anyone who's here now, so that we can see when your contest is, the specific date, And y'all go over there and check out Jill's community wall. I'm sure she has it there. And check out her videos, her most recent videos. Please, please, please go check them out so that you'll be aware of the exact date and time of her next MLK, um, well, her next contest that has an MLK theme. So was it set? Okay, to postpone it. So is it? Oh, was it set for tonight? I, MLK Day is Monday, so I hope you guys went to the bank. I don't know if your area closes the banks and credit unions and things like that. But hey, if you didn't go to the bank, I guess you gotta swipe that card. be look, be careful with swiping that card. Be careful with swiping the card. Don't swipe too much. Don't swipe too much. When I feel better, I will put out an update. Okay. Okay. Well, feel better, Jill. We're praying for you. We're praying for you. It's back on the rise. So, people, protect yourselves, please, as much as you can. Joshua is not a laughing matter at all. Be thankful that you don't, but it's not a laughing matter at all. It's still serious. Joshua says, I feel better, Jill, or feel better, Jill. He'll pray for you. Yes, it's not a laughing matter at all. Definitely not. Right, Jill. I don't. Joshua, you actually owe Jill an apology because that kind of threw me. Jill, can you delete his comment, because if I delete it, it's gonna ban him. I look because I tried to delete that because it's not. I don't understand the laughing emoji at all. And Joshua, don't leave this live. Run into another live saying that someone mistreated you or did something wrong to you, because we didn't. That was inappropriate and you shouldn't have said it. So that said, I don't even want to hear anything else in another live saying that anybody said anything to you, because what you said was wrong. He apologized. Thank you, Joshua. Yes, so anyone listening, please check out Jill's Comfort Zone. She will be rescheduling her contest. Check her community wall out so that you'll be on top of it and you'll get the notification when she does have it. When she does have it. So it's like 5:54, guys. What it's like when I get to, like, if I'm on here like 53, 54, 55 minutes, I'm like, why not just do an hour? Why not just do an hour? Oh, you're welcome, Jill. You're welcome. I try to be how do I say? I try not to get so easily perturbed or angered, but some things do. Some things kind of push you, and that one kind of pushed me. So I had to pump the brakes and monitor, what I said. And you're welcome. You're welcome. You may be talking about just promote me telling them to go check your community wall out so that they'll be able to see the dates. Ooh, I feel good. It feels good. That wind is windy. It'll get your nose running, but it feels so good. You're welcome, Jill. You're welcome. Yes. So we've been walking and talking and just talking per usual. But that's what the live was about. This live, just breaking chains. What do you do to break chains? How hard do you find it to break chains with people? Whether it's people that you see day to day, whether it's your social media, whether it's family, whether it's friends, um, church members, co-workers, neighbors. How easy is it for you to break chains? And once those chains are broken, I know people fall out and they get cool all the time. But for people who are really, really serious about their relationships and the way that they treat people and the way that people treat them, how easy is it for you to reconnect those chains? Once you realize that a chain needs to be broken, how easy is it for you to reconnect those chains? Some chains can't be reconnected. Some chains we don't want to reconnect. But how easy is it for you to, reconnect those chains, especially with family and friends, sometimes even co-workers, because you work with someone daily and you don't want to have these uncomfortable moments all the time at work. Now you can get to a point where you just don't, you only do business, you only communicate in a business fashion. You can do that. But, sometimes you want to have, hey James, welcome, 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 James Money 615. Thank you. Welcome to the live. Joshua says he has spaghetti and chopped meat and potato salad. That sounds good, Joshua. So sometimes, some of those relationships you repair. And it's like I said, it's just like when we get scars, when we actually get physical scars, those scars, some of them go away, but some of them don't. Some of them aren't as bad as others. And sometimes the small scars are bigger than the big scars. The impact that they had on you, they may be small, but they may leave a bigger impact on you mentally and emotionally. And sometimes even the scars that physically heal and you don't see a sign of it, it still has an emotional impact on you. It can still leave a mental and an emotional impact on you. So when it comes to reconnecting chains, like Sonia was saying, the torch, if that chain has been torched, when you reconnect it, it's just like when you're welding and you fix something, you're going to see that it's scarred, but it doesn't mean that it's not better than it was before. Sometimes some repairs can be better than they were before. Not all, but some. And some may not be as good or better than before, but they can be good enough. They can be good enough. What you got going on, James Money 615? Happy New Year to you. It's January, what, 12th? Is this January 12th? Yeah. Happy New Year to you. Hope everything's going great with you. Hope the new year has started out great for you and your family. Y'all go over there and check James Money 615 out. Please, please, please check him out. Check out Jill's Comfort Zone. Check out Miss Key Kitchen. Who else was in here? Cool Gamer, Joshua, Sonya. Go over there and subscribe to Sonya as well. Bad and Bougie came through and said hello. Retirement Days was in here. Ruben Abbott, thank you for coming through, Ruben. Wishing me a good walk. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope that you guys have a great weekend. Whatever it is that you decide to do, please be safe. Stay warm. I think the whole United States and everywhere else is cold right now. Well, not everywhere else, but most places. There are some places that are warm. Maybe Las Vegas. Las Vegas may not be so bad right now. So, um, Miami may not be so bad right now. There are some places that are warm, but for the most part, it's cold. It's winter. It is winter. It's officially winter. We're all in. So stay warm. Stay hydrated. Still stay hydrated. The wind will tear those lips up. The wind will tear those lips up. Stay warm. Stay hydrated. Cut down on your salt. Stay fed. Eat. Try and eat well. Try and have good dishes. When you prepare your food, try and prepare good dishes. Prepare dishes that keep you full. Prepare good hearty dishes, hearty meals to keep you full. Joshua, I'm sorry. I'm just not feeling it right now. I'll let you come back like I said, Joshua, don't go run into somebody else's live, messing up their live. talking about how you were treated because you had like two chances today. And I don't know what's wrong, Joshua, what's going on with you. I think, I don't want to say, I just think, Jill, and you know what? I try to be, and I'm trying to say this and word this the right way. With some people, you have to be more understanding, right? But at the same time, some of the things that those same people say shows that they're understanding. Sometimes they're trying to do too much. They're trying to show that maybe maybe they aren't the way we think that they are. And so they end up doing too much. And he keeps doing too much. This is the second time that he's done too much. And the first time, I did it it was just temporary, just to, you know, maybe he's having a bad day. Maybe he's just on one today. He went right over into Miss Catherine's live talking about somebody blocked him. I don't remember who did it. I asked someone to do it. I think I may have done it or I may have asked someone to do it. I mean, either way, I'm not scared to do it. I don't throw mods under the bus like that. I don't, if I say, Jill, Sonya, can you handle that person or whatever? Whoever does it, I'm not gonna say they did it. I don't do that. So so I can't quite remember if Ahmad did it or if I did it. But he was just doing too much. And I try to be, you know, on an even keel with him, but he has to be held. He can't just be free willy out here doing and saying anything he wants to say because he thinks that he's gonna get by with it. I know that there's a situation there, but he can't just say because he's got the intent, the intellect to say it. He knows what he's saying, and I think sometimes he just tries too hard, and he ends up crossing lines. He ends up going overboard. So I just had to break that chain. I really had to break that chain, and then I could see he was about to start begging again because you told me that you and your mom were out and you needed someplace. I think he told us that over the summer. And everybody in this chat tried to help him and tell him, the things that he needed to do and not do, right? So, because he was doing it in other chats, and we were really looking at him as a son figure, brother, little brother figure. We were trying to encourage him and, let him know, don't do this here or there. He's telling us that those people didn't get mad, and some of us witnessed what was happening. Okay, so now I'm thinking, yes, there's an issue there, but it's not to the point that he doesn't know what he's doing. It's an issue there, but he thinks he has a pass to do certain things, and he doesn't. He doesn't. So whoever is subscribed to me, if Joshua Gabriel, and I'm just gonna say it, comes into your chat talking about what happened in this chat, ask him why did he get blocked? Ask him why. Because I can understand the situation with Joshua, but he's not going to come over here and basically show his A whenever he feels like it. He had been in the chat in a while, and he comes over here today, and instead of saying Happy New Year and just contributing to the conversation, he just does things that's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. Nobody in this chat ever says anything to hurt Joshua's feelings, ever. But there are times where he thinks he can say what he wants to say and hurt someone's feelings. Because when he did that, Jill, I'm not gonna even lie to you. I was livid, and I had to take a step, and I had to just say, woosah. Like nobody ever mistreats him in this chat. And before you say something ignorant or stupid, just don't say anything at all. You don't have to fit in. Be yourself. Fit in by being yourself. And he hasn't been this way. He was much better when he was truly being himself. And I honestly feel like that he's trying to be something else. He's trying to show that, hey, I can, you know what I'm saying, Jill, because I don't want to say too much, but it really is starting to tick me off. So this time, if I undo it, it won't be so soon. It won't be so soon. So I hated he said that. It really ticked me off. I didn't appreciate it because, I know that you're not feeling good. And who wants to hear something like that? And see a freaking emoji, a laughing emoji. That's crazy. But then he put stuff in the comments talking about he's humble and he's this and he's that. So, we know the situation, but still, that lets me know that you know enough to not do the things that you do. I didn't expect it either, Jill. I was totally ticked. Yeah, I still didn't put any WD-40 on this door. Yeah, I was ticked. I was thoroughly ticked. So you heard it, Sonya, you heard it too. Yeah, y'all. They're just, they rubbed me the wrong way. And I don't know. I just think heck, maybe it needed to, not that didn't need to happen, but maybe I needed to see, maybe I needed to see what I saw in him, because they're just, I know, Jill, I know. And you know what? I didn't say anything either because I wasn't sure if you were gonna handle it. I wasn't I wasn't really sure, but I wasn't gonna let it. I wasn't gonna let it slide. I wasn't gonna not say anything. Had you handled it, it would have been good. But had you not, I was gonna do it. It's just like when I made him a mod. I made him a mod. I explicitly said I'm making. It was like two or three other people. I don't need mods. I got Jill, I got Sonya, I got Chef, Finest Wine, I got Rock. That's all I need. This chat doesn't jump like that. We're over here trying to just, I think it's like family. We're just having a good conversation, um, talking about things that really, really affect people, affect us, and ways that we cope with them and just getting through them. And then just some of the day-to-day things that happen in life, or that's happened, that will happen. So that's what it is over here. And it seems like he comes sometimes to try to stir the pot a little bit. But what I really honestly truly think it is that he's trying to fit in. But how can you fit in? Because the things that he says, we don't do that over here. We don't, right, Jill? Sonya says, "Oh, Jill, get some rest." Yeah, Jill says, "I'm over here sick as hell," and he said that right with the laughing emoji. Yes, Sonya, we good over here. We good over here. I don't need all of that. I don't need all that extra. Yeah, of course, everything's not always going to be positive and everything's not always going to be good. But as far as over here in this chat, even if it's a bad day, we're not coming over here looking to tear each other down or to make each other feel worse. We're looking to feel better. In fact, if I come on here and if I'm kind of moody and y'all can tell that I'm just not right, maybe I am moody, but maybe I know who's coming in my chat, and maybe I know that we can end up sparking off a conversation to get my mind off of whatever has me in a bad mood. If I'm live and you're in a bad mood, I would hope that you know enough about my chat to know that maybe you can just come and listen, say hello, maybe just listen, and hopefully you'll hopefully you'll be in a better mood by the time you leave. We're not over here for that. And that laughing emoji, I'm telling you, if I could have just took that laughing emoji and threw it, I would have. Hey, Boss Man News, what's up? Lions, hello, and chat blessings. What's up? What's up? What's up? Glad to see you, Boss Man News. See, we got guys that come through here. Good guys, Boss Man News, Chef Finest Wine. Everybody's like on the same page over here. James Money 615. I hadn't seen him in a while, but I'm glad to have him. I'm glad he came through. So, we don't have time. We don't have time for that kind of stuff. Again, Jill, we're praying for you. We're hoping that you feel better. It is, that and other things that they're kind of on the rise. So the weather is cold. I don't care what anybody says. People say the cold doesn't give you a cold. Cold weather doesn't give you a cold. Well, guess what? It does something, because most people have colds in the wintertime. Now, yes, do we get summer colds? Yes, and a lot of times they're the worst. But some people do get colds. And if you go outside, leave home half dressed or not properly dressed, you find yourself sniffing, kind of sneezing. Hey, if you don't take something to knock it out quick, the next thing you know, you got a cold. And you may not have touched the doorknob outside of your home or your car. You may have gone to the drive-thru and just touched the bag. You come back home that morning, you got a cold. So does cold give you a cold? Probably just the cold, no. But the impact that it has on your body, Your body has to react to it. So the impact that it has on your body, you can develop a cold. And I know a cold is a virus. I know that. I know that. I know that. And a lot of times it's maybe instead of going to the drive-through, you ran inside McDonald's and there was one person standing next to you. Your body's already, you don't have on enough clothes. Your body's already adjusting to kind of keep you warm. And that person next to you does happen to have a mild cold. So yeah, I mean, we know that colds are viruses, but don't go outside with your clothes off. Don't go outside dressed inappropriately. Don't go and jump in a cold tub of ice. Jill says it's all good, huh? Sonya speaking to boss man. Jill says I'm focusing on getting better, and that's it, right? I don't know that fella. Exactly. Good riddance. Exactly. I think, yeah, you're right, Jill. And I really hated to even I really even hated to address it, but I just kind of, you try to give people a chance. And he's had one. He's came back over, and I know you tried to help him out. Over in another chat when he came over here, you were just trying to give him some encouraging words to kind of, some words of wisdom to help him out. And it was just like, I could tell then, okay, he's not hearing. When people don't hear you, sometimes it's just best to stop talking. Or when people don't listen to you, they hear you, but they don't listen to you. Sometimes it's just best to stop talking. Let them do them. Just go teach another young person. Like I said earlier, teach a young, learn from an old. Sometimes you can teach an old one. Sometimes a young one can teach us. But to me, the goal, the idea is to teach a young person, learn from an old one. And you can do that at any age. A 10-year-old can do it. A 10-year-old can teach his 5-year-old sister or brother. He can learn from his 15-year-old sister or brother. It doesn't matter the age. And that 10-year-old can also teach his 15-year-old sister or brother. So it's like we're just all over here for the good. Like we're trying to benefit each other. So that's a good time to say, don't let bothered people bother you. Don't leave any out with more stress than you came with. Don't leave any facility, any church, any job. Try not to anyway. Don't leave with more stress than you went with. Don't let bothered people bother you. Focus on your peace, positivity, and prosperity. Peace, positivity, and prosperity. Because without peace, there's chaos. Without positivity, there's negativity. Whenever chaos and negativity mix and combine and brew around, you fail to prosper. Because see, I almost let negativity brew around in this chat. But we weren't going to do it. So on that, y'all, I wish y'all a happy weekend. Have a wonderful weekend. Jill says he did like that. Oh, he didn't like what I was trying to tell him. Right, he didn't. He didn't like what you were trying to tell him that day. So when I used to see him in chats, he would say slick stuff. Are you serious, Jill? Yes, Sonya, the 3 Ps. Jill, are you serious? I didn't know that. I did not know that. I know that the day that he came over and you were trying to help him out, he didn't take it. He didn't take it well. So I mean, all you were being kind to him. You were being kind to him. So if he didn't take it well, that's on him. But to know that he was doing that after the fact in other chats, I didn't know that. So yeah, I don't think I'm gonna fool with that anymore. I really don't. And I wouldn't have mentioned Miss Catherine at all, but I just know that when that happened that day, Jill, he went over to her chat and acted as if I had mistreated him, or if basically something that happened in the live, someone had mistreated him. Oh, he would laugh it off like he was joking. Yeah. So that's why I say he knows better. So at one point I was like, well, sometimes you have to think about how much a person knows. You have to think about intellect. And I'm not saying it to be rude or mean. Sometimes you just, how far to go with certain people. And how far not to go with certain people. So yeah, I just happened to catch him. I think Miss Catherine was on live, and so I went in and I spoke. She and Miss Deborah were on the panel. I think Miss Catherine was live and Miss Deborah was on her panel. Her sister was on her panel, and um, so when I came in, he goes and tells them that you know, I blocked him, basically kind of saying that I was being mean to him or something, or whatever happened in the chat. Basically that he was mistreated, and that was absolutely not the case. When someone blocks you, that's not. Maybe you mistreated them. Maybe you got blocked for a reason. Right, you can't feed into that stuff. And see, and I wouldn't have even said anything in that chat, in Miss Deborah's chat, Miss Catherine's chat. I wouldn't have even said anything, but he did. He has a bad habit of doing that, and he needs to stop. Whoever's chat he's in, when he starts to do stuff like that, they need to shut it down. They need to shut it down. He has a bad habit of doing that. Something happens in one chat, and he comes to another to talk about it, and then to say that someone's mistreated him or done him wrong. But he wasn't about to drop that, start that mess about dropping the Cash App either. Because I'm like, you told us this in June. Was it not June when he was looking for a place and he was supposed to be moving to Jersey? And if I'm not mistaken, he's gone live and it looks like he was in that same place before he even started all that talk. I might be wrong, but it looks like he was in the same place before he started that talk. So I can't feed into that. I don't have time. Yep, he brought up the topic we had over here in Miss Catherine's too. Yeah. Yeah. And I was like, wow, really? And I wouldn't have, something just told me, because I saw that she was live, and I was doing something. I don't know if I was at work or headed from work, but I was doing something, and I really couldn't do much at the time, but I spoke because I was about to yeah, I was on my way somewhere. I spoke. And so when I saw him say that, I was like, oh no, hold on. So as soon, I think I may have been headed to TJ Maxx or Ross or somewhere, but as soon as I got there, I hit the link and I told her, because they weren't falling for it. I mean, they weren't feeding into it at all. They were just saying, just they handled it well, very well. Like maybe he misunderstood or it was a misunderstanding or something, which is the same thing I would have told him had he come over here talking about somebody. So they handled it very well. But what I didn't appreciate is him doing it, because if he did it there, he would go into somebody else's chat. He probably had already been into somebody else's chat and done it. And I'm like, no, what we're trying to do is make sure that you're not out here looking, some type of way. And don't come over, you don't go into somebody else's chat dropping your Cash App. I mean, that's just etiquette. We're trying to tell you what's right. And that's exactly what you said, Jill. He didn't like what you said. And so he was taking those little slick shots. But it's all good. He'll be okay. We'll be okay. Sometimes we got to break chains. Sometimes we got to break chains. We had to break that chain. I don't think I'll be, I broke that chain before and we welded it back together. So I don't think I'll be, doing that one again. It'll be a while. So thank you guys for coming in. I appreciate you, Jill. Feel better soon. We'll be looking for your update. And on that note, y'all have a wonderful weekend. Bye, y'all. Hey, Sonya. I'm still here, y'all. It's like 1:19. I'm going to wait till 1. I just want to end it on an even number. Jill says, have a blessed weekend, everybody. Yes, everybody, have a blessed weekend. Stay safe, stay warm, and do everything that you need to do to protect yourself from these cold symptoms, these colds and everything like that that's running, that's on the rise. So, bye, y'all.